Today's case study for our branding agency, I wanted to look at a very interesting project, something that really, especially now with the trend in terms of, conscious food and brands that are sort of capitalizing on the new wave of conscious eating, healthy foods and things like that. Anyway, so this client, Whey Crazy Donuts, a big client who, it sounds like a kind of a quirky name, but it's a very serious business, and it's about protein foods. And so they created this protein foods bakery. And when they came to SpellBrand, when they came to us, they wanted us to create a unique kind of brand identity, an identity that is not a static identity, it's rather a dynamic identity. And so we created this awesome brand identity, and it's an interlocking system of icons and things like that. So let's look into the details of this. So Whey Crazy Bakery sells protein based snacks, powders, drinks, and they have sub-brands like Whey Crazy Cookie, Whey Crazy Donuts, and so on and so forth. And they have a beautiful tagline, "Bite into the revolution." Beautiful, beautiful. So the kind of strategy for this was to create an identity that would look same across the various sub-brands, but also each one would look individual. It would look unique and distinct. So it took a little bit of strategic thinking and design-based kind of thinking to come up with this identity. So let's look at the primary kind of icon, the color, and all that. So you've got here a little bit of branding going on here. So we've got the typography on the left, and you can see the official brand pattern. And on the right hand side is the primary icon with that kind of speed mark or electric buzz mark or whatever you want to call it. And that's to show power, protein, power. And here is the idea behind the design and how it is not static but more dynamic. And as you can see here, when it's the donut, you've got the donut, and we put the donut inside the icon, and then the bolt, sorry. And then you have, when it's for the cookie sub-brand, you can see that immediately the icon turns into a cookie, and that can be used for the cookie sub-brand. And as you can see here, the secondary icon, the secondary brand mark is can be used as a sign, and it just looks stunning, right? You got that the bolt mark, but you also got an emblematic kind of secondary mark that can be used on signs, that can be used on decals, and so on and so forth. So the power of that branding is really taking an icon and making it dynamic. So if you have a parent brand and if you have sub-brands, then you got to think through when you're creating the primary icon. The primary icon can be dynamic if you approach it from a strategic as well as a design perspective. So if you have sub-brands and you want to have an umbrella brand that then can be extended into sub-brands, then this is the way to do it. Not exactly like this, but with this kind of strategic thinking, right? So let's look at a few more branding elements. So we got the official brand pattern here on the t-shirt, and it looks fantastic. We've also got another official brand pattern. You can have more than one, it depends on the campaigns. And like you see on this big kind of banner here, "Bite into the revolution," and it shows just that. So here again, we've got yet another official brand pattern. So we came up with a whole bunch of patterns, and these patterns can then be used by different sub-brands and different campaigns and so on and so forth. So on this packaging, on this box, you've got use of both, and it depends on what is inside. And this one here is the interior design. So this is for the shop, one of the walls, and the bakery, of course. And so you got the primary logo again, and you got the official brand pattern. So you can see that we sort of took the whole notion of branding to the next level by creating these repeated elements, but utilizing colors. And some might say, oh, isn't that too much? No, it isn't. If it is done strategically, if it's done with taste, then it isn't. So these colors are complementary. They're creating, they're telling the story. So it's all about telling the story. If you're able to tell the story, then it is not too much. And you can see here again, different renditions. And yeah, so the takeaway from this case study is that if you are thinking about a parent brand and then you have sub-brands, then try to come up with an icon language, right? A visual language that extends from the primary to the secondary and to the tertiary. And you could use the same icon and then morph it, or you could have different icons for each sub-brand and then have maybe an overall theme that ties them together. Yes, it could be as simple as just a color, but actually I would prefer the colors to be different for sub-brands. I would rather have icons represent and have a kind of a thread, a common theme, and have completely different colors or completely different look and feel. I hope you enjoyed this case study. I will leave a link to this case study below this video so you can sort of read about this company and also some of the other design decisions. As you can see, we've done the brand strategy, logo, brand identity, the package design, and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's actually quite an interesting kind of case study. All right, till the next case study, take care.